A very warm welcome to our second announcement of the day, and please for this welcome with me BOC Aviation Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer Robert Martin, and from the Airbus side, Airbus President and CEO Fabrice Bregier, and our Chief Operating Officer Customers John Leahy. And Fabrice, I pass on straight over to you.
Thank you, Stefan. Good morning, everybody, and a very warm welcome to Farnborough and to this very significant announcement. And it's a pleasure and an honor, Rob, to be on stage with you today. But BOC Aviation is of course an important customer of Airbus, and this announcement follows a recent order for a total of 75 A320s. And in fact, since their inception, BOC has ordered a total of 215 Airbus aircraft to date, including members of the A320 family and also the A330 family. And being owned, as you know, by Bank of China and headquartered in Singapore, makes BOC Aviation the perfect lessor partner for Airbus to offer aircraft in this fastest growing Asian region. Now, Rob, I hand over to you to announce what it is about.
Okay, so good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us this morning. We've had a long-standing relationship, as you know, with Airbus. We've been taking delivery of our 320 family since 1998. And so this is just sort of the latest addition to that family. As Fabrice mentioned, we ordered 75 in the last year. Very happy to say all of the CO component of that have been placed. And so it's time to top up. We have customers wanting more. So this morning we're announcing an additional 43 A320 family aircraft. And that comprises 36 COs and 7 NEOs. As you know, we have an existing order book for 37 NEOs, the first 7 of which are placed. We placed them with Tata SIA. And now we're moving ahead to top up the order book. And we particularly see demand as well for the A321 aircraft coming out of Asia Pacific as well. So we've already placed the first 8 of these aircraft. And basically, they've been placed with IE engines. Okay. So thank you, Fabrice.
Thank you very much.
Then we can turn to the signatures, and photographers are invited to come to the front.
Yeah, hello. Good morning, Robert. 7 is kind of a funny number. I mean, normally these things are ordered in batches of 5, 10, and multiples of 5 or 10. Is this one block order, or is there some other element in here? We actually expected you to order 35 aircraft. I know that our speculation isn't always right.
Okay, so Andrew, you're partly right as usual. 35 aircraft are the new direct manufacturer orders. We also picked up an additional 8 aircraft during this year from Airbus, which takes up to the 43. And those aircraft are the 8 that already have been placed. Now, if you're referring to the 7 NEOs, we already have an existing NEO stream. Because of the way we work, we wanted to keep the delivery stream within the period to 2019, and that's simply the reason why.
Okay, what did you pick up earlier this year? I'm not clear. Where did you pick that up from?
Directly from Airbus. They had some customers who didn't need some of their CO positions, and so we took them over directly from Airbus.
Who were those customers, please?
You'd have to ask Airbus that. So.
John, who were those customers?
We don't have any comment on individual contracts, as you know.
Were they airlines or other lessors?
I'm sorry, but
We
that's
don't have
Airbus's business.
any comments on individual airlines.
Okay.
If
Next
they
question.
choose to announce something, they announce it.
Next question to Robert Wall, Wall Street Journal.
Yeah, hi. Just 2 questions, really. One on, you mentioned, I think, delivery stream to 2019. Can you just give us the dates on the COs and the NEOs? And then also a bit more on the 321s. So are you shifting basically some of your 320 positions up to 321s?
Okay, so let me deal with the first question first. So in terms of when delivery stream starts, it is literally starting now. And so basically our COs run through to 2017. and the NEOs basically run through to the end of 2019. We have existing NEO order positions that start in 2017, so it just supplements that. Now, in terms of the mix of 320s and 321s, over the last year, we've seen quite a lot of demand coming up for 321s. People are upgrading their size of aircraft, and we expect that trend to continue. And I can tell you, particularly in Asia Pacific, with a number of carriers coming to us and requesting 321s. So we've actually, for this order, a number of them have already been fixed as 321 positions. I can give you the numbers. 17 as a total 43 aircraft will be 321s right from the get-go. So.
Next follow-up question by Robert Wall. One moment.
So do we have any?
With
At this point, let's see how the market evolves. You know, sort of, we've got a long-standing relationship with Airbus. We're able to move very quickly when we see market demand, as John and Fabrice know. And when we see that, we'll come and talk to them. And if at that point they want to give us more COs, we're happy to do that. You know, the CO is a very, very good aircraft, and not everyone is going to move to NEOs. For some people, the CO makes a lot of sense.
Karen Walker, Air
If I-
Transport.
Just before, let me follow up on that and then partially answer Andrea's question too. Remember, we're producing at a very high level right now, and there are quite a few customers out there. So you would always expect there'll be a few airplanes moving left, a few airplanes moving right. Somebody will say, I need some airplanes. Somebody else say, maybe I have too many. And I'm very pleased with Bank of China and Robert Martin, because as he says, they can move extremely fast. One phone call, would you take these airplanes? Yes, it's done, and the deal moves very quickly. That's essential to balancing a production flow at these high levels.
Karen Walker, Air Transport World.
Hi there, here, sorry. So, Robert, the decision to go for the COs, for the larger number of COs, is that basically because that's those were more readily available, or you know, are your customers still looking for the CO?
No, we've got customers who actively want COs, and obviously the COs are in the near term. You've got to remember, whilst there's a ramp-up of the NEO going on, there's not many available in the early periods, and particularly for the 321, people would have to wait a number of years and thus lose passenger revenue if they can't get access to 321s now.
Next question in the room. Andrea had one.
Fabrice, I think you have said in the past that more than 50% of the single aisles you're building now are 321s. Is that correct, or is that for NEOs? I'm just wondering if you might have to shift production plans even further to do a greater percentage of A321s given the move upward.
No, not yet. The trend, we believe long term, is that the 321 will account for about 50% of the total output of the family. Yes, you are right, but not yet. And we are increasing the production of 321, but as Robert mentioned, so far we have an industrial bottleneck, because years ago it was probably only 20% of our production. So we have launched the industrial actions and investments with our supply chain, and we are ramping up. But this is a capacity constraint on the A321 right now.
And from a lessor's perspective, that makes them attractive. Which is why we're fixing 321 positions.
But we'll
now.
not try to delay the ramp up, Robert, sorry.
Next question to Jens Flotter, Aviation Week.
Lessors have been skeptical about the 330 NEO for at least initially, and that seems to have changed. I'd be interested in your view of the program, and also I guess the pitch is to go for wide bodies with less range than the extreme ranges that are available too. Is that a market trend that you're seeing as well?
Okay, well, let me split that into two parts, if I may. The first one is the time is right to launch the 330 NEO. It should not be delayed. And if it's going to come to market, it should come to market quickly now. That's our view. We've been investors in the 330, the existing 330, and basically other aircraft types that are similar to that, and there is definitely a market that's open to this plane. Why is there a market? Well, look at the demographics of the world. Look at the growth of population centres. And if you look at Asia Pacific alone, we've got over 100 cities in China with more than 1 million people, over 50 cities in India with more than 1 million people. And trade is beginning to grow between these cities. This year, China has just become the largest trade partner of India. And so we can see there's going to be demand for traffic flows between those two countries in particular, and other large growing cities with large middle-class populations around Asia Pacific. And these obviously don't need a 12-hour range. You know, these very comfortably sit within the range circle of the new 330neo.
Jens Flotter, Wall Street Journal. Sorry.
Not that I've been looking hard at the
I
air.
was.
Das kommt
I was watching two persons at the same time.
Then I want my old job back. Yes. Just on the 330 Neo idea, you know, what do you think of the fact that it's a single engine? I mean, I realize that they probably tried to get
I stood up in
two.
New York and said at the conference in New York, it should be one engine type.
Why?
Why? Because as a lessor, I much prefer wide bodies with a single engine type. You don't have a bifurcated market, and so it's much easier to move around second-hand aircraft on that basis.
I should add that if you remember the sort of discussions and speculation in the press over the last few months, the only lessor that was looking for two-engine was Steve Hazy, and he's now come to grips with the fact that he has one engine, and he bought 25 yesterday, but every other lessor was unanimous in financier in the fact they would prefer one engine.
Yeah, you have to remember our mindset is as an investor in aircraft, and so that's the way we tend to think, and so lesser engine types on an airframe is better for us in general.